Every now and then, it's good to get some shit off your back and shake off the plethora of aggravating minutia that has a tendency to pile up in our psyche. Since I have my own show, and I'm a selfish asshole who wants to passive-aggressively yell at some people I have to deal with on a regular basis without naming names tonight, I'm presenting to you the 5 things I am genuinely fed the fuck up with. Here is your damn rant show, folks. Greetings, I am E. Adam Thomas, and this is That Damn Rant Show, so titled because some other fuckwad already uses the title Adam's Rants. Seriously, fuck that guy. Today, I'm just getting some flotsam off my jetsam, scraping some yin off my yang, so to speak. Tonight, we'll be looking at 5 things that I am seriously done with, that I'm genuinely fed the fuck up with. Number 1, trigger warnings and the people who abuse them. PTSD is a seriously horrible thing to have to endure. It's most common with military personnel, first responders, and victims of violent crime or natural disasters. When someone with a genuine PTSD condition needs a little extra consideration or a little warning to avoid having a panic attack over something that could unexpectedly force them to relive the trauma that they had to endure, I have nothing but the utmost compassion for them. However, there is a growing subset of our population co-opting the concept of so-called trigger warnings over shit that just annoys them or conflicts with their beliefs or their comfort zone. To those of you who just don't like being reminded of something unpleasant, and you want everybody else to kowtow to your preferred comfort zone, let me offer you a little bit of advice. Shut your fucking pie hole. Are you seriously that selfish and pathetic that you would apply the same level of import to your aversion to creepy clowns or the color puce as somebody who has actually endured a traumatic amputation of a limb due to an IED does to an IED, loud explosion-like noises? You honestly think it's okay to make everybody feel like shit about your distaste towards ugly baby jokes when you've never even procreated? You want a warning about an episode of SVU that deals with rape even though neither you or anybody else you've ever known has ever actually endured it? You've turned what could be a positive means of helping seriously and legitimately traumatized people into a fucking internet joke. You self-righteous hypocrites have seriously screwed over real sufferers of tragedy again. Thanks for nothing, assholes. Number 2, the gentrification of the arts districts. Here in Phoenix, we have this thing downtown called First Fridays. For decades, this was a monthly event where artists and counterculture types could come together, view artwork, sell some pieces, and generally have a night of fun away from so-called normal people. Performance art, live music, hippie shit. And it was an escape from the mundanes. Now, if there's one thing city managers and planners hate more than old historic buildings, it's the smell of patchouli. But First Fridays had already become such a thing they couldn't just cancel or abolish it. So they're doing the next best thing. They're building condos along Roosevelt Row and encouraging local media outlets to stage concerts by hip-hop and hard rock bands. Not big-name acts, mind you, but just the acts that bring the mundanes in droves. First Fridays is now becoming a place for beatniks and counterculture types to avoid, which is really a slap in the face to the spirit of the whole event, but it does keep the moronic ASU downtown district looking vibrant and hip. Number 3, TV season's getting better and a fuckload shorter. If you're as old, crotchety, and cantankerous as I am, you remember how back in the day, the more popular a series was, the more episodes they would try to cram into a season. Until recently, the average number of episodes per season for an hour-long TV drama series was about 25 episodes. Whether it was an intense drama with no special effects to speak of, or an action-packed sci-fi adventure with spaceships, weird alien creatures, or John Saxon playing an evil robot. Sure, the effects were sometimes cheesy and unintentionally hilarious, but if it was even a halfway decent show, there was always a better episode to look forward to next week. Well, those days are over for fans of big shows like Doctor Who, The Walking Dead, and Game of Thrones. They have all scaled back the number of episodes to as few as 10 episodes per year, counterbalancing this decrease with an increase of overall production values. Any given single episode of any of these shows is more impressive visually now than most of Steven Spielberg's 1980s and 90s output. The downside is, now instead of waiting maybe 4 months after a season finale for new episodes to start, we're sometimes waiting as long as 1.5 years for new episodes. Seriously, that's long enough for some folks to completely lose interest in a show. I get that the BBC didn't want to compete with the Olympics or some of the other big events in Europe this past year. But the last regular episode of Doctor Who aired in early December of 2015, and the new season doesn't start until April of 2017. The only thing we get this year is a fucking Christmas special. And I'm sorry, but let me be perfectly honest here. About half of the Doctor Who Christmas episodes have been pretty fucking weak. Most of them don't even factor into the running continuity. In the original run, they only did 1 Christmas episode in 26 years. It's not a goddamn tradition if it's only been happening in the new series. Want to give me a nice Christmas present? Remaster and air some more of the long-lost Troughton episodes that you just found. Then have Chris Hardwick do a Talking Who thing afterwards. Number 4. Fan Community Elitism. One thing that has always pissed me off is the fact that you can be part of a fandom or community group, and by your very affiliation with that particular group, you are automatically on the shit list of everybody in another group for the same fucking fandom. This is really common with some long-standing fandom communities like Star Trek, Ghostbusters, or the Rocky Horror Picture Show casts. To the best of my knowledge, Doctor Who hasn't had too much problem, at least in my area. I have seriously had it with people who can't get it through their thick fucking skulls that this is a hobby. Nobody's making a career out of it. Nobody's getting any recognition out of it. When folks get all up in arms, taking over groups or starting rival groups and hurting their friends and other members of their scenes to get power over a local fandom, it ends up sucking for everyone. If I want to spend all my free time working with a bunch of assholes I can't stand, I'll get into a TARDIS and join the 1981 cast of Saturday Night Live. These power trips, hostile takeovers, and group versus group wars are stupid. It's a hobby. If you're not having fun with it, if it is a source of stress or anxiety, or if it is causing a rift between people you care about, get out of it. It's supposed to be fun, not an exercise in out-bitchying the Kardashians. Number 5. Funko Pop Figures. Lastly, Funko Pop has made a name for itself by producing these cute figures representing every possible fandom imaginable. From Godzilla to Game of Thrones to Gilmore Girls, it would seem that there is a Funko Pop series for every fucking fandom possible. And yet, such is not to be. Therefore, I present to you my Big 10 Funko Pop figures that should exist, but don't. Number 10. Legends of Late Night. Seriously, they have a Conan O'Brien pop figure, in fact a series of them, but no Letterman? No Jack Parr? No Johnny Carson?
Hey, what about Leno?
Ah, fuck Leno. Number 9, $6 Million Man. And number 8, The Bionic Woman. Seriously, these two shows were hugely popular. Number 7, Gamera. I am sick to death of our giant turtle savior of children getting screwed over by Big Kaiju. Gamera is really neat. He is made of turtle meat. We all love you, Gamera. Number 6, Pulp Fiction. I especially want the Jules figure with the included bad motherfucker wallet. Number 5, Shatner. Yes, I know there is a TOS pop figure of Kirk, but what about his other fantastic roles like TJ Hooker, Denny Crane, or Bob Wilson, the nervous passenger from that Twilight Zone episode? Come on, Funko Pop, where's your shatitude? Number 4, Worst U.S. Presidents. This would be a surefire winner, seeing as how we've just elected the most definitive entry in this series. You could have also Nixon, James Buchanan, George W. Bush. There's plenty of fodder for that mantelpiece. As a side note, there really does need to be a Bernie Sanders 12-inch action figure with bionic kung fu grip. Number 3, commercial mascots. Flo from Progressive, the Geico Lizard, that creepy-looking Alka-Seltzer kids from those commercials in the 50s. The possibilities are endless. Number 2, sitcom second bananas, such as Mr. Furley, Jerry Helper, Fred and Ethel Mertz, and everybody on Big Bang Theory besides Sheldon. And finally, the Angry Men of Angry Men Reviews. Myself, Andy, and Drew deserve to have our own pop figures, even if some of us aren't doing any episodes anytime soon, and even if our viewership of any one episode has never come close to exceeding 4 digits, and even if we all have frightening faces that terrify small children, we still want our own licensed pop figures, because that's where the money is, baby. Merchandising.
Puppy monkey baby.
Then again, maybe not. If anything I have said today offended you or upset you in some way, good. If you agree with everything I said, awesome. Either way, let me know by commenting on this video, looking up That Damn Rancho on Facebook, emailing me at boratom.com, finding me on Twitter. I don't care, whatever. In the meantime, I like these better than bobbleheads, because for one thing, the heads don't come off. Good night. Angry Men Reviews. Many fucks said, no fucks given.
Oh, son of a gun. You thought I was going to say son of a bitch, didn't you?